When building a company from nothing, raw intuition is your primary survival mechanism. You make rapid-fire choices and react to the market in real time. That autocratic speed is exactly what gets a business off the ground. You rely on your gut to maneuver around obstacles and push the company from 0 to 1. But as revenue grows and headcounts expand into the mid-market, that same instinct breaks down. Relying on your gut at this scale introduces high variability, turning what was once a strength unscalable liability. This matrix shows the shift in risk tolerance and speed. In Phase 1, the startup phase, you accept high risk to move fast. But in Phase 2, the mid-market scaling phase, the volume of decisions multiplies. Speed without data verification creates massive structural risk. An executive claiming to know the industry by gut instinct past a certain size is a warning sign. It often masks severe mid-market management blind spots. You cannot delegate your intuition. A multi-departmental mid-market company cannot function based on what one person feels in their head. When teams try to interpret those gut feelings without clear data, the business starts paying an invisible manual operations tax. Hundreds of hours are bled dry every month just trying to manually organize chaotic processes. Leaning entirely on historical industry experience leaves you exposed in volatile markets. It prevents leadership from accurately calculating commercial revenue leaks because they simply cannot see where the money is dropping out of the funnel. For a founder accustomed to instant action, pausing to install analytics often feels like slow corporate red tape. It feels like bureaucracy slowing down the machine. The objective is to eliminate that operations tax entirely, and to do it without the bloated budgets usually required for enterprise-level data teams. Mid-market companies have a commercial right to operational clarity. Down on the operations floor, mid-market managers are left scrambling to verify those top-down gut feelings with actual numbers. This quadrant chart maps the trade-off between effort and visibility. When teams rely on manual spreadsheets to verify operations, they are assembling a retroactive, fragmented view of company performance. They end up here, high on friction and low on scalability, wasting hundreds of payroll hours on data entry rather than actual analysis. The target state is over here. This requires investing capital upfront to install baseline data analytics, like Pivot BI, into your systems. This low-effort, high-visibility position tracks operational visibility gaps in real time, rather than waiting for an end-of-month review. Manual data verification is a reactionary band-aid. Automated pipelines allow the system to handle increasing volume without a proportional increase in administrative overhead. Implementing these systems requires a level of friction that many leadership teams underestimate. The first trade-off is a painful upfront ego check for leadership. You have to look at the numbers and admit that your personal intuition is no longer sufficient to steer the ship. The second trade-off involves severe temporary workflow disruption. You will have to halt normal operations long enough to accurately map your processes and standardize your data inputs. The third is the required upfront financial investment to stand up the pipeline itself. Compare those temporary pains against the old reality, where manual data reports are already functionally obsolete by the time the leadership meeting even begins. Automated systems do the opposite. They actively flag business decisions based on gut feeling risks before those errors can impact the bottom line. The organizational friction of installing analytics is temporary. The scalable visibility and the recaptured payroll hours are permanent. Let's treat this transition as a methodical engineering problem. Step 1 is the audit. This flowchart outlines the progression, starting by cataloging repetitive manual reporting tasks scattered across departments. This forces you to standardize inputs, identifying exactly where your team loses the highest volume of working hours. Step 2 is automation. You connect those disparate operational data sources directly into a central visibility pipeline, like Pivot BI. This creates a live dashboard, successfully recapturing those lost hours and allowing management to plug leaky revenue funnels. Mapping this baseline data requires pausing normal work, and it clearly exposes operational inefficiencies. That is precisely why instinct-driven leaders go out of their way to avoid doing it. The technical software pipeline is only half the equation. You have to address the human behavioral changes required to sustain it. The final execution trade-off demands strict, unyielding adherence to new data entry protocols from your entire staff. Management has to permanently banish the phrase, "I'm just doing it in my head," from the company culture. If it isn't tracked in the system, it didn't happen. Software alone cannot fix a broken business process. True automation requires enforcing operational accountability at the human level. Let's evaluate your current business health to determine if you are actually ready for this roadmap. This split-screen checklist breaks down the indicators. A self-made founder must transition to data if they are seeing flat revenue, high executive turnover, and delayed reporting, even while grinding through 80-hour work weeks. If that describes you, the mandatory trade-off is surrendering autocratic control. You have to build a system that allows the business to grow without you being in the room to make every decision. For the mid-market operator, you can use this exact roadmap to justify the upfront cost of automation to your leadership, proving the clear financial ROI of eliminating manual work. However, if you are an early-stage startup still searching for product-market fit and finalizing initial product design, you should avoid this transition for now. Over-indexing on complex data pipelines before establishing baseline revenue will drown a young company in overhead. Instinct remains highly valid, but only until that initial foundation is built. Mid-market survival relies entirely on strict operational accountability, not executive ego. Rigid, ego-driven operational foundations will inevitably crack and completely collapse under the scaling weight of a growing business. Pivot BI Analytics is specifically designed to stop that invisible manual operations tax, giving mid-sized businesses the tools they need without requiring an enterprise-tier data science team. It is about definitively locking down leaky revenue funnels through clear, automated business visibility. Sustainable business scaling relies on shifting trust from internal feelings to external automated systems that capture what the gut cannot see.